Welcome everyone to episode 150, Fanatic Fundraisers. So today we're going to get right into it, job changes. I will be going Han Solo. Chris Gunther transitioned to Dakota Wealth Partners from Montag, bringing his experience as a senior investment strategist to his new role as senior wealth advisor. Based in the Atlanta metro area, an area that is just, genuinely booming, and in a state like Georgia that's booming as well. He serves as a generalist, focusing on delivering tailored financial strategies and investment guidance to clients. He holds an undergraduate degree from the Ohio University, and his deep expertise and dedication to client service management strengthens Dakota Wealth Partners' commitment to comprehensive wealth management and long-term client success. Best of luck, Chris. Matt Sharp transitioned to Kelly Dry and Warren LLP Retirement Savings Plan from McGuire Woods. Based in New York City, he now holds the role of Business Development and Marketing Manager, focusing on litigation and focusing on strategic marketing initiatives and client development within the firm's litigation practice. As a generalist, Matt brings extensive experience in business development and marketing strategy, supporting Kelly Dry's efforts to bolster client relationships and foster growth across its legal services platform. Michael T. Turbo, and by the way, that is a terrific name, transitioned to Investors Financial Group from LPL, bringing over 18 years of wealth management experience to his role as financial advisor. Based in Minneapolis, he serves as a generalist, focusing on building strong client relationships and delivering tailored financial strategies aligned with each client's goals. He holds an undergraduate degree from the University of St. Thomas and remains active in several professional allocations. Michael's client-centered approach and emphasis on communication reflect his commitment to offering exceptional service and long-term financial guidance. And now we're going to be hitting the wealth management front of things. We're going to be talking about acquisitions. There was no break in action in October, following a record third quarter for RIA M&A activity, with us, Dakota, tracking 33 M&A deals during this month. A lot of activity here, a lot of robust activity. Those deals involved just shy of an eye-watering $300 billion in AUM. Through the tally was heavily skewed by TPG and General Atlantic-backed Creative Planning's blockbuster acquisition of $250 billion Sageview Advisory Group. Palm Beach Gardens, Florida-based and Emigrant Partners-backed Dakota Wealth Management reportedly acquired Lewis, Delaware-based RIA Loken Investment Group roughly a year after the death of its founder, Jonathan Loken. The deal adds $455 million in client assets. Loken had engaged Turkey Hill Management to assist in its sale process, and I'm from the great state of Delaware, and Lewis, the beaches in Delaware are just truly booming. Especially, there's been a huge influx of people from northeastern states like New York, New Jersey, for the low-cost living, remote work. So it makes sense that RIAs like Lewis, there would be some flourishing there. Now we are going to be talking about TA Associates and Onyx Corporation-backed Wealth Enhancement acquired $464 million RIA Wise Wealth, which has locations in Lee's Summit, Rolla, and Liberty, Missouri. The team includes 6 advisors and is led by Stephen Strickland. Wise Wealth was advised by Hugh Partners. Wealth Partners Group and HGGC-backed Waverly Advisors acquired $447 million Cape Cod, Massachusetts-based Bridge Creek Capital Management, bringing the Birmingham, Alabama-based firm's AUM to around $26 billion. Rebecca Daves of Advisor Growth Strategies advised Bridge Creek on the transaction. Now we're going to be going to investments and searches. So we're going to be firstly talking about the Kansas City Police Retirement System, which has $930 million AUM, is based in Kansas City, and it has a general consultant of RVK and a private credit consultant is RVK as well. Kansas City Police Retirement System unanimously approved a $35 million commitment to the TPG Twin Brook Direct Lending Evergreen Fund, focused on providing senior secured loans to private equity-backed middle market companies in the U.S. The motion was based on a recommendation by RVK. And I think right here, really we're seeing a lot of growth of evergreen funds. I think this idea of flexibility, less rigidity, more more latitude here, I think is one of the reasons why we're seeing huge growth in the evergreen field. And especially obviously direct lending and private credit are just truly flourishing, especially these past few years. It is just truly absurd, the growth. And then the Indiana Public Retirement System, which has over 42 billion assets under management, and it's based in Indianapolis, and its general consultant is Verus, and its private credit consultant is Axia. The Indiana Public Retirement System disclosed making 5 commitments from August to September, including $125 million to Clarendon Road Credit Master Fund and $6 million in additional capital to Woolridge Trading Aggressive Fund within its absolute return portfolio. In real assets, the pension committed $250 million to Grisham Gold Fund and $75 million each to Hamas Income and Growth Healthcare Fund and Abacus Multifamily Partners Fund 7. Indiana PRS also continues to monitor 7 public equities and fixed income managers on its watch list. So some exciting stuff there. Now we're going to be talking about searches. So first we're going to be talking about the Attleboro Contributory Retirement System, which has $215 million in assets under management and is based in the city of Boston. Its general consultant is DeHop Associates. The Attleboro Contributory Retirement System issued 5 new RFPs under the guidance of DeHop Associates, covering public equities, fixed income, and real estate. The searches total approximately $104 million, with $30 million each for mid-cap core equity and passive ACWX U.S. index mandates, $22 million for core fixed income, $12 million for large cap growth, and $10 million for core real estate. All proposals are due by December 15th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, so a little bit more than a month from now. And now we're going to be going to the Midwest, and we're going to be talking about the Chicago Teachers Pension Fund, which has over $12 billion in assets under management and is based in the Windy City itself. Its general consultant is also its private credit consultant, and that is Callan Associates. The Chicago Teachers Pension Fund advanced its 2025 Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Private Equity Search, selecting Inco Capital, Helios, and Sango Capital to present to the board as finalists for the manager selection process. The pension is expected to approve an investment committee recommended manager for a $10 million allocation as part of the program. So what does this all mean? As we like to do, we really like to synthesize this information, kind of provide key takeaways, especially for the GPs and LPs watching. RIA M&A is evolving from expansion to optimization. We talk a lot about RIA consolidation, but it's especially this M&A is really kind of changing in a way. The latest deals including those by Dakota Wealth Management, Wealth Enhancement, and Waverly Advisors, highlight a shift from rapid expansion to strategic integration. Rather than chasing scale for its own sake, acquirers are focusing on deepening service offerings, broadening regional footprints, and enhancing client experience. I think right now also a big piece of the growth of RIAs is really that emphasis on client experiences. I think any person in the wealth management scene or just broadly wants to be heard and seen, and they want their financial wants and needs to be attentively and adequately heard to. This marks a maturation of the wealth management M&A cycle, where quality partnerships and post-acquisition execution now matter more than transaction volume, which is very obviously significant here. Number 2, public pensions are leaning heavily into private credit and real assets. Commitments from Kansas City Police Retirement System and Indiana Public Retirement System reflect growing LP confidence in private credit, infrastructure, and real assets as inflation hedges and yield sources. And I think right now, especially, as inflation remains elevated, I think there is that idea of making investments that are, insulated from the ravages of inflation. This allocation trend signals a continued rebalancing away from traditional fixed income toward flexible income generating private strategies. And number 3, surge activity highlights an appetite for diversity and precision in the manager selection. What's the bottom line here? A lot to unpack, a lot to digest. The Attleboro Contributory Retirement System's multi-asset RFPs and the Chicago Teacher Pension Fund's MWBE private equity search demonstrate that public funds are not only diversifying across asset classes, but also advancing DEI objectives and refining manager rosters for 2025. Consultants remain central to this process and guiding institutions towards both performance and mission alignment. I think right now that's another thing that speaks to is I think a lot of people that are investing that are using RIAs I think there's a really big push, and just in wealth management for that matter, is like having a concrete mission, really having values anchor and inform investment decisions. And so we're going to talk about fundraising updates. Personally, one of my favorite parts of the podcast. Real asset manager CapitaLand Investment closed its latest value add lodging private fund, oversubscribed at $650 million against a $600 million target. So $50 million oversubscription pretty immense. With commitments across the main fund and related investment vehicles, CapitaLand Ascot Residence Asia Fund 2 invests in living and lodging properties across gateway cities in the Asia Pacific region. I think there's a lot of hunger for Asia right now, especially areas like South Korea, Japan, Singapore. So Asia is just a region that is incredibly popular amongst investors, and also a lot of people are looking back to China right now too as well. So very interesting right there. And climate fund managers secured $600 million in commitments at the first close of the GAIA Climate Loan Fund. That's a mouthful, which is established with Japanese financial group MUFG Bank, Canadian Development Finance Institution, FinDev Canada, and climate investor Green Climate Fund. Marketed with the assistance of climate advisory firm Pollination and backed with cornerstone investments from its co-founders, the loan fund will finance predominantly climate adaptation projects in markets heavily affected by climate change. So I think a lot of the hard to abate sectors, obviously like energy, like manufacturing, like construction, Danish lender Danske Bank, and also one thing I wanted to mention is I think there still is very strong appetite for climate investing, especially from international perspective, countries working together, firms from different countries working together to mitigate climate change and really realize great rewards. Danish lender Danske Bank closed the first fundraising round for Danske Vax Capital Fund 4 with DKK 1.7 billion, which equates to $261.7 million in US dollars in total commitments from unnamed Danish organizations, companies, and funds, including the Export and Investment Fund of Denmark, Danske Industry, ATP, Danica, and DTU's subsidiary PSV Foundry. The fundraise will continue over the next 12 months to raise additional capital for startups and growth companies in the Nordic region, particularly Denmark. First, deployments from the fund are expected to be completed in the near future. Our upcoming cocktails. So 2 days ago, we had cocktails in Chicago, Palm Beach, and also a last-minute one in Denver, which all were successes. And we still have some more exciting ones coming up. So we have Sao Paulo, Brazil, our first one in Brazil on November 10th. It's coinciding with the Carmel Conference, and Philadelphia, November 20th at the Union League. So some very exciting stuff. And we hope to see you. And again, if you have any questions regarding this, any inquiries, please feel free to reach out to me. And thanks for coming out.
This episode is brought to you by Dakota Marketplace. Are you tired of constantly jumping between multiple databases and channels to find the right investment opportunities? Introducing Dakota Marketplace, the comprehensive institutional and intermediate database built by fundraisers for fundraisers. With Dakota Marketplace, you'll have access to all channels and asset classes in one place, saving you time and streamlining your fundraising process. Say goodbye to the frustration of searching through multiple databases, websites, Form ADVs, and say hello to a seamless and efficient fundraising experience. Sign up now and see the difference Dakota Marketplace can make for you. Visit dakota.com/Dakota-Marketplace today.